Welcome to Celebrity Investing, your go-to source for insights, tips, and updates on navigating the exciting landscape of personal and global finance. Please like, share, and subscribe for more exclusive content. This is part 1 of Carbon Markets and Investing, a guide to opportunities and impact. Carbon markets are becoming a powerful tool in the fight against climate change, but what are they, and why are investors paying attention? By putting a price on carbon emissions, these markets encourage companies to reduce their environmental impact while offering new opportunities for those looking to invest in sustainable solutions. As the world shifts toward a greener future, understanding how carbon markets work could be the key to making smarter, more ethical investment decisions. What are carbon markets? Carbon markets are systems that turn greenhouse gas emissions into tradable assets. They work by assigning a monetary value to emissions, creating financial incentives for businesses and individuals to reduce their carbon footprint. These markets fall into 2 main categories, compliance and voluntary, each serving a different purpose in mitigating climate change. Compliance carbon markets. Compliance carbon markets, also known as mandatory markets, are established through government regulations or international agreements. They compel companies in specific industries to meet emission reduction targets. Think of it like a cap placed on the total amount of pollution allowed, exceeded, and you pay the price. In these markets, governments issue a limited number of allowances that grant companies the right to emit a specific amount of greenhouse gases. If a company emits less than its allowances, it can sell the unused credits to another company that needs them. On the flip side, if a business exceeds its allowance, it must either buy additional credits or face fines. This creates a clear financial push to invest in cleaner technologies and reduce emissions over time. A good example of this system is the European Union's Emission Trading System, EU ETS, one of the largest in the world. It covers industries like energy, manufacturing, and aviation, setting strict caps on emissions and driving businesses to innovate. For companies, participating is not optional, it's do or pay. For investors, compliance markets present opportunities to tap into a growing space tied to government-backed climate policies. Voluntary carbon markets. Unlike compliance markets, voluntary carbon markets operate on choice rather than obligation. Here, organizations and even individuals take proactive steps to purchase carbon credits. The goal? To balance out their emissions and show commitment to sustainability. It's not just about meeting legal requirements, it's about reputation, accountability, and sometimes even customer demand. Each carbon credit typically represents the reduction or removal of 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide or equivalent greenhouse gases. These credits are generated through projects like reforestation, renewable energy, or methane capture. For example, a tech company aiming to achieve net zero might buy credits from a reforestation project in the Amazon to offset the emissions generated by its data centers. Voluntary markets are gaining traction as consumers increasingly favor brands that prioritize environmental responsibility. This makes them attractive not only for businesses looking to boost their green credentials but also for investors keeping an eye on sustainability-driven trends. Whether it's a small e-commerce brand or a multinational corporation, these markets offer a way to make meaningful contributions to the fight against climate change, while staying accountable to the planet. How carbon credits work. Carbon credits are the backbone of carbon markets, providing a mechanism to quantify and trade the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. By assigning a value to emissions and creating tradable assets, carbon credits incentivize sustainable practices while offering businesses and investors a tool to engage responsibly in the fight against climate change. Let's break down how they work in practice. Defining a carbon credit. A carbon credit is essentially a permit that represents the removal or prevention of 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide, CO2, or its equivalent in other greenhouse gases. Think of it as a receipt for environmental cleanup efforts. For example, a wind farm that generates clean energy and displaces coal-based power can earn credits equivalent to the emissions it offsets. Why does this standard matter? By tying everything to 1 metric ton of CO2, carbon credits provide a universal way to measure and trade emissions reductions. This consistency ensures that credits, no matter where they are created, hold the same baseline value in carbon markets. Methods of generating carbon credits. Carbon credits don't just appear out of thin air. They're created through tangible projects aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions. These projects must meet strict requirements and are often verified by third-party organizations to ensure they genuinely offset emissions. Here are some of the most common methods. Renewable energy projects, wind, solar, and hydroelectric power plants reduce the need for fossil fuel-based energy. By displacing high-emission sources, they generate credits that represent their contribution to a cleaner grid. Reforestation and afforestation. Planting trees, or restoring degraded forests, capture CO2 from the atmosphere. Over time, these projects can create measurable carbon sequestration, earning credits that reflect their long-term impact. Sustainable farming practices. Improved agricultural techniques, such as reduced tilling, crop rotation, or methane capture from livestock, can lower emissions and generate credits. Methane recovery. Projects that capture methane, often from landfills or industrial processes, prevent this potent greenhouse gas from reaching the atmosphere, converting it into usable energy instead. These methods not only create carbon credits but also contribute to broader environmental and social goals, such as biodiversity protection and improved livelihoods for communities involved in these projects. Trading mechanisms for carbon credits. Once carbon credits are generated, they enter the market where they can be bought, sold, and traded. The trading of carbon credits allows businesses, governments, and individuals to offset their emissions and achieve sustainability goals. Here's how the trading process works. Spot trading. This involves the immediate purchase and sale of carbon credits at their current market price. It's straightforward and works like buying shares of stock. What you pay is what the credit is worth today. Futures trading. In futures trading, buyers and sellers agree on a price for credits that will be delivered at a future date. This approach helps manage risks related to price fluctuations and allows companies to plan their emissions strategies long-term. Private agreements. While many trades happen on established platforms, some deals are struck directly between buyers and sellers through bilateral contracts. This can offer flexibility, particularly in voluntary markets where businesses may seek credits from specific types of projects. How are credits retired? One important detail. Once a carbon credit is bought, it's often retired. This means the credit is taken out of circulation and can no longer be resold. Retiring credits ensures they're used solely to offset emissions and aren't double counted, which maintains the integrity of carbon markets. In essence, carbon trading is a global balancing act. Some entities reduce emissions while others pay for the benefit of offsetting theirs. By linking economic value to emissions reductions, carbon credits transform environmental responsibility into a financial opportunity. Key players in carbon markets. Carbon markets rely on a network of participants to function effectively. From setting rules to verifying transparency, each stakeholder plays a critical role in creating a system that encourages emissions reductions while maintaining trust. Let's explore the key players shaping carbon markets and their responsibilities. Governments and regulatory bodies. Governments and regulatory agencies are at the heart of carbon markets, acting as rulemakers and enforcers. Their primary job? To create a framework that ensures the market operates fairly while driving real environmental change. Without clear regulations, the concept of buying and selling carbon credits would lack structure and accountability. Stay tuned and continue to watch our videos to gain valuable insights into the world of finance. Subscribe, like, and share to continue your journey to financial success.